So this week on the podcast, I'm joined by the Nash shot stopper, Cam Mason.
Hi,
Also, you're eating your pasta. How are you today?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad.
Hungry, but yeah, good.
How's pre-season going?
Tough, very tough, but you expect nothing less. But I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying being back, and just want the season to start now, to be honest.
Yeah, no, it's pretty crazy. You're the longest serving player here now, aren't you?
Yeah, and as a 23-year-old, I'm not sure if that's a good or a bad thing.
Yeah.
But I am the longest serving player. I've been here 6 years now, so yeah, it's kind of like a second home to me, like a family now, really.
Yeah. So where should we start? I'm going to ask you, why are you a goalkeeper?
I don't know why I'm a goalkeeper, to be honest. I got into goalkeeping when I was in year 7. It's a weird story.
It's quite late, actually, isn't it?
Yeah, I didn't really play football. Wasn't really interested. My dad played football, but basically, I played a little bit for my cousin's Sunday league team to help him out. Not in goal anywhere really, to be honest. And then I was into sports like cricket and basketball when I was in high school. And in year 7, I was in a detention for swinging back on a chair. And the maths teacher spoke to the PE teacher, and they actually sent me to go and play football in goal for the school football team instead of doing the actual detention. And a gentleman from...
As a punishment?
As a punishment, yeah, because I didn't want to do it, to be honest.
Yeah.
I didn't want to play football, wasn't an interest of mine. And while I was there, a gentleman from Blackburn Shadow Squad asked me if I wanted to go down training. So that's how I got into it, really.
Well, so it wasn't long after you started playing?
So it was pretty much... After that school game, he came up to me and said, my son plays in goal for the other school. He plays for Manchester United. But we want you to come down to Blackburn where I work and maybe try out with the Shadow Squad. So I went home and told my dad, and it went from there really. Went to the Shadow Squad and then went on to other places like Oldham and Chesterfield, etc.
So when you first moved, what was it like when you... Because it was you at Blackburn first then?
I was at Blackburn when I was year 7, year 8.
Was that in like the actual academy?
No, just with the Shadow Squad. I never actually got in the actual academy. I only just trained. It was like a satellite centre. So basically, used to take lads there and girls who train with like a shadow team, for example, and then if they thought you was good enough or ready to try and make the step up, they'd take you to the actual academy for a trial. I think I only went once. I never really got an opportunity to go there and get into the academy.
Yeah.
Ended up leaving Blackburn and I went to Oldham.
So that's the actual academy at Oldham?
Yeah, Oldham's academy.
How did that come about? Did someone just spot you? Or?
Yeah, I just think someone got in contact with my mum, to be honest, after I obviously left the Blackburn thing. I played for my town team at football, so it was like all the schools in Oldham, they pick the players that they want to play for the town. I was the goalkeeper for that, and I think I've just got seen there playing, and I got asked to go down to Oldham. I was there till I was 16. I got released at 16. Was
that tough for you?
Yeah, it was tough, to be honest. It was a tough time. Yeah, it was difficult. I think
that's sort of the age a lot of people they end up dropping out, isn't it? If you don't make it.
Yeah, I must admit, I nearly dropped out. I nearly never played football again. It was actually my mum and my dad who kind of taught me around to go in something called exit trials. Mine was at Leeds United training ground. Just a thing where all the lads get released at 16. They make up a team and you just play 3 games of 30 minutes, I think it is, throughout a day. And the scouts from all over the country watching, some from abroad. And yeah, I went there and I got a few offers: Chesterfield, Carlisle, Cambridge. They all begin with a C for some reason.
Yeah.
And somewhere else, I can't remember where. And I ended up going to Chesterfield just because it was closest to home.
Yeah.
I knew I had to move away, but Chesterfield at the time, I think we're in League One, and it was obviously somewhere where they didn't have another keeper, so I knew I'd have an opportunity to play. I went training there, and at the time the academy manager Dave Bentley asked me to sign, but I'd only have 2 days to make my decision, and I didn't really want to risk losing that opportunity, so I ended up signing there.
Yeah, so that was at Chesterfield?
Yeah, so I did my youth...
Did you go into the first team? Or
I was with the first team. I trained with the first team, with the other keepers. I had some good goalie coaches there: Mark Crossley, Eric Nixon. Eric Nixon actually played here before he went to Man City at Curzon. Don't know if anybody will know him, but he did play here. So really, to be honest with you, when my time was up at Chesterfield, and when I came back from Australia, he mentioned about coming down to someone like a local club like Curzon. and I'm really grateful for that because obviously.
How did you manage? Because it was John was manager at the time, but how did you manage to get? Did you go start the under-18s or
So
anything here?
I would have been. I think I was 18. They had an open day on the AstroTurf. Funnily enough, that Mark Bradshaw ran.
Yeah.
And I didn't come as a keeper.
You didn't?
I fell out of love with football. Didn't want to play. Didn't have the desire to even do anything. To be honest, I had no effort towards football. And a good friend of mine at the time said, "There's some open trials at Curzon Ashton. Do you want to go down?" I think we've seen it advertised on Facebook. It might have even been Mark who put the post on at the time. He'd just been at Everton till he was 16, got released. He went to college in Oldham, played for the college team. He was looking to get back into football. We came down. I ended up trialling as a striker. Got to, I think, like the third day, like third training session. Ended up being on the bench a few times for reserves on the main stadium. And then a lad called Matty Crovers, who used to be here, centre midfielder, knew me because we were in the same years at school. And he saw me at training. And he said to me, "Why have you not got your goalie gloves? Bring your goalie gloves." I said, "No, I don't have interest in it no more." And told my mum and dad when I went home, and they said, "Why don't you just put your gloves on again and just see if you like it?" I came to training, put my gloves on, and at the time Adam Lakeland was the first team coach, and he was overseeing reserve training for whatever reason it was. And I remember training, and then that night getting a phone call from John Flanagan saying, well, actually it was Mark rang me saying, "Did you train in goal tonight?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Well, you're training with the first team tomorrow now, and because they want a number 2, and John Flanagan's going to ring you."
What was that like for you?
A good thing, because really that was the road I should have been going on anyway. I should have had my gloves on from the first place, because I'm sure most of the lads will agree I'm hopefully a better goalkeeper than I am as a centre forward. But yeah, it was one of those things. I was nervous because I was going back into a men's football environment where I'd not been since I'd left Chesterfield, which was a difficult time for me. So yeah, it was nerve-wracking, but once I got to know the goalkeeper coach at the time, Steve Everall, and Hakan, the goalkeeper at the time, I felt right at home, to be honest. Hakan and Steve had a big influence on my career here as such. They taught me a lot of things. Hakan's experience, not just in non-league, he'd been at Liverpool, and the way he spoke about the game and how he helped me develop was...
Is that the guy that's on the board downstairs?
Yeah, he's on the board downstairs. Yeah, he was a great goalie. He taught me a lot, and I'm very grateful for that. Same with Steve. Steve was a great goalie coach. I think every goalie coach I've had here and in the past has always taught me something different, and I've tried to add it to my game. But because Steve was my first one here, he really helped me settle in. And like I say, I'm very grateful for them too, because I probably wouldn't be where I am now without the likes of them two behind the scenes as such, helping me out on and off the pitch really. So I'm very grateful for that.
So do you remember when you made your debut? Or
I played, I can't remember which one.
Because you shadowed that you went around with the first team, wasn't it? You was always on the bench.
I was always on the bench.
Yeah.
Not every game, but if I was to be on the bench, I was. I can't remember if my first game was Nantwich away in the Evo stick in the league, or FC United at home in the Manchester Premier Cup on air, where it went to penalties. We ended up drawing at Nantwich away, and I remember we won on penalties here. That was either
Save any?
2, I think. Yeah, so it was a good introduction into the first team life, if that was my debut, because it couldn't have gone any better, to be honest. But one of them was my debut. I remember drawing at Nantwich. I think it was 0-0 actually, and obviously here it was 0-0, and we won on penalties. So yeah, good start.
How many years was you in the Evo stick for? You also had like.
Won.
Was you playing when we got promoted to this division?
Yeah. I wasn't playing. I was on the bench.
On the bench,
yeah. But I was here then. Yeah. When we got promoted, because we played Ilkeston in the playoff final. Yeah. And Woody, who's now the assistant.
What was that like for you? Because obviously you're still quite young, and it was like your first. Was that like
that was my first really. Yeah, I'd been down to Wembley with Chesterfield. Yeah. Not in the match day squad, but they made me a part of it. Yeah. And we won there when I was, funny enough, just before my YT. And that was a good experience, but it didn't really feel like I was a part of it, because obviously I didn't have any impact. And even though I didn't really have a part of us winning that playoff final, because I was on the bench, I felt like I did. And I know how much the lads worked hard for that. I know how much it meant for the place around here. So it was an unreal experience. It'll be one I'll never forget because it was the first promotion / title I've ever won. So and you know, it made them back-to-back promotions as well. I wasn't here for the one before, but it's another great achievement in itself, really, for the club and everybody around it.
Yeah. So was it? When did you make your debut season effectively? Because ever since then you've been number one.
I've been number one. I think this is my third season as number one now.
Yeah.
It's been a roller coaster. But a lot of ups and downs. Not just me personally.
I've got to ask you.
Yeah.
You took a penalty away in the FA Cup, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
What was
running through my mind?
How did that even happen?
So I think, obviously, going back to when I came here as a striker, you always see me kicking balls in the net, or I have a shot before a game. A bit of a ritual we do.
Yeah.
I think about 4 lads had missed penalties, and Connor Hughes had missed one first game of the season. Ryan Brook had missed one. I'm not sure who else, but there was a few names on the list. I remember taking the mick really and saying, "I'll take them. I'll take them." And then I remember him coming up to me. It was John Flanagan saying, "You're on penalties." He said it before a game, and do you know what? I'll never forget Joe Guest's face. Joe Guest's face was a picture. It was like, yeah, he was like, "Is this serious?"
Yeah.
And people were saying, "Whoa, no, this can't happen." It wasn't them doubting me taking a penalty, even though they should have done, because obviously I missed. But it was the fact of, if he misses, what do we do? Because obviously you've left an open net.
Yeah.
We found out how to do it the best way when I did miss. A lot of things were running through my mind.
What was it like? Do you know when the penalty was given?
Yeah.
What was your first initial thought then?
Go left,
really?
where I always go.
Was you not scared at all or anything?
No, didn't have any nerves until I probably passed the halfway line, and then I had every
option. It's a long walk, isn't it?
I had every option possible about where to put this ball, and I ended up going my right, keeper's left. But the lad in goal, Oliver Martin, is a good friend of mine, and he's a good friend of actually the goalkeeper coach at the time, Chris. And I remember, funnily enough, after it had happened, I remember laughing, because at the end of the day, I'm one of those people. I'm a very laid back guy. I don't like losing, don't get me wrong, and I'd probably be very annoyed if somebody else had missed a penalty. But if I didn't laugh about it, I'd end up beating myself up, and it get into me. And I remember just thinking to myself, we're in like a bit of a goalkeeper group chat called the GKN. There's goalkeepers all over the country, mainly up here in the northwest. I remember thinking to myself, I guarantee someone's put a picture of me missing a penalty in that group chat already, and it's been about 5 minutes. Every emotion, to be honest, in that game. Obviously, we won in the end, 2-1.
Luckily, yeah.
I actually played all right. I made a good save tipping onto the post near the end from their fullback, and after that, it made me realise.
Was that in the first year you was playing, or second year?
That was my second year as number one.
So not last season, the season before.
No, that was last season.
Oh.
I've been number one, not last season, the season before, but this FA Cup was last season.
Yeah.
I remember when I tipped onto the post thinking, yeah, stick to doing this and not taking penalties. And and funnily enough,
did you get much stick in the dressing room?
I was gutted, to be honest. Not because because I missed, not because of my own personal ego or anything like that to say, oh, I've scored a pen. I just wanted to score the pen for the team. At the end of the day, and the club, it's the FA Cup. It's a big occasion. Of all games to get it in, I get it in the FA Cup, where money's on the line.
Yeah, we speak about this. I spoke about it with there are a few people that have been on the podcast already, and it's always like reiterate how important the FA Cup is.
Yeah, people don't understand the value. I remember when I was at Chesterfield, we played a non-league team. I think they were in the Evo stick at the time. I can't remember the name of them. And just them playing that game financially was massive, whether they lost or not. And at the time, I used to think, why? But now I'm in the non-league system.
Yeah, that's what
I realise how much it means. That's what. I'm glad we won, because I would have felt awful if we hadn't, and we would have lost out on money for the club. And it's a great opportunity for the lads. Everyone's seen what happened the year when we got to the second round, being on TV.
Yeah.
You know, everyone remembers it. Yeah, it was heartbreak, but what an experience, and it's something again I'll never forget. Especially being here, it's a memory that'll last a lifetime. Again, I didn't play, but the memories from that game, and you know, again, are tough to take, but at the same time, what an experience to be involved in.
Yeah.
So I think people underestimate how much the FA Cup means to non-league clubs, especially like even teams lower than us. You look at local teams like your Mosleys and things like that. It's important. It really is important for clubs to get a good run in the cup. in the FA Cup and the trophy. The trophy is another one where you can get to Wembley. Like it's a great opportunity. All you need is a couple of wins, like in the FA Cup, for example, and you could be anywhere. You could end up getting a lucky draw at United away, and that'd be another experience.
Always hope for this season anyway. We'll come back to Curzon in a second, but I'm going to ask you sort of what's like the impact your family had on you. Obviously, growing up in football, like you said, you had a tough time.
Yeah.
Sort of wanting to come back into it. Was it your mum and dad that played like a big role in that?
So, when I was in football, I suppose I've never really. When I was younger, I took things for granted. I think most kids do these days, but the amount of miles my mum and dad did to get me to places like Carlisle away on a Saturday morning, 11 o'clock kick-off, training 2 nights a week, 3 times a week actually because of goalie training, was a massive impact. And without them, I wouldn't be anywhere. I wouldn't be playing football now. I think, obviously, when I got released, I was in a very bad place. Because when you get something, I think the way the system works, it's changed a lot now. You think football, and when someone takes that away from you in a situation like this across a table within 5 minutes, you don't know what to do with yourself. And if you don't have a plan B. I remember looking around colleges.
Did you have any idea what you was going to do?
No.
Or did you even think about it?
No. Even though deep down, I knew I probably wouldn't get a scholarship at Oldham.
Yeah.
Because the goalkeeper there at the time with me is actually Joel Coleman, who's at Huddersfield now. He made his Premier League debut at the back end of last season. He's a top lad, and he's a great goalkeeper. So deep down, I think I knew that I wasn't going to get the opportunity. But your heart tells you not to give up. Yeah. And I didn't give up. But then at the same time, if I would have had the head on my shoulders I've got now back then, I would have been looking for a plan B and a plan C. I didn't have a clue what I was going to do. I remember going into school, all mates was like, "Oh, when are you training next?" And saying to your mates, "No, I no longer play for Oldham. I haven't got a club."
Was that hard for you, like?
Yeah, because you get obviously the attention, even from your PE staff. You get like, "Oh,
I know you're."
And then it was tough. My PE teacher actually, Adam Cree, was my town team manager.
Yeah.
He had a big impact on me as well. Picking me up from the ground, saying, "Don't worry, you'll get somewhere. You'll be all right. You're good enough."
What, after you got released?
And that was something that I got from my parents. But because it comes from your parents, I don't think you take it in as much. Yeah, you think they're just being parents. But because it was coming from my PE teacher, somebody who wasn't a family member, somebody who, yes, had taught me for the last few years and was my town team manager, it really made a difference.
Yeah.
But like I said, when the exit trials came around, I had no intention of going there at 16. I didn't want to play football. I thought it was a be all and end all. I didn't think anybody else would want me. And I remember on the day of going, I didn't want to go. I didn't want to get out of bed.
Was it your parents that took you?
Yeah, my mum particularly said, "Come on, we're going. Come on, we're going. We've filled the car up. Probably filling me with stuff that probably was irrelevant, but it made me go, all right, then we'll go." And I remember getting there, and you have 2 keepers per team, and I wasn't playing. I remember I was on the bench. I thought, great, I'm not even going to get an opportunity here to even show people what I've got.
Yeah.
I remember seeing my mum said, "Don't worry, you'll get your chance. And actually the other keeper got injured in the first game, 10 minutes in. And I remember playing, and I wouldn't say I played very well, but obviously I did enough. And if it weren't for my mum or my dad begging me to get up or to not to give up, like I say, I wouldn't be here. Definitely wouldn't be playing at this level. I might be still playing with my mates, but I wouldn't be playing in goal, and I wouldn't be, giving it my all to improve every session and game.
Yeah, because you also went to the V9 Academy, didn't you?
Yeah, I went to the Jamie Vardy Academy last summer. Another.
I suppose that was a bit of an experience for you.
Unbelievable experience.
Where do they hold that?
It's at Manchester City, but the funny thing is about that, I was working at Manchester City at the time, so I knew it was being hosted there, and I kept saying to the lads who I was working with, "Oh, I'm going to go and watch it, because these are all non-league lads. When there's games, I'm going to go and watch it." I remember getting told there by John Flanagan, "Oh, you're going to the V9 Academy. You need a week off work." I was thinking, "Oh, man."
Oh, is it a week long?
Yeah, it was a week long. So you live there. Yeah. It's 3 teams split up, a goalkeeper for each team. you play against each other and you play over teams. We played against TNS, and then scouts come watch and you train full time. Yeah. You get the facilities of all.
So it's a bit like what the Nike Academy did.
Yeah, kind of like that. Yeah, you get all the facilities that.
Is that still running now then?
I don't think the Nike Academy is because
no, that one's already finished. I meant
the V9
one. Yeah.
They've not done it this year. I don't know for what reason, but they haven't done it this year. It's a shame really because it's a fantastic opportunity. Not just. Even if you don't get anything, like you look at me,
you get to experience. Like it's a taster, isn't it? For what
basically, you live like a Premier League footballer.
For a week
at the Premier League champions for a week, and you get coaching from my two coaches were from Middlesbrough under 23s. Both played.
Yeah. God
knows how many league games, hundreds upon hundreds. So their experience to give you just in that short week is stuff you'll take away, and like I say, never forget. It was a better experience for people like me who, being a City fan, it's something I'll definitely never forget, and a great opportunity. And a lot of lads went on to Football League clubs. So
was there anyone in particular that's gone on like pretty well for himself? Obviously, probably
there was two lads in my team actually who went on to St Mirren. Alan Stubbs was one of the coaches at V9. He ended up getting the manager's job at St Mirren, and he took them two up there. Josh Heaton, the centre half, he funnily enough was on loan at Kidderminster last year.
Yeah.
And Cody Cook is a striker who's still there. He scored a hat-trick actually. I think it was in like the playoff or whatever it is they have, you know, for relegation promotion. So they're doing really well. Other lads have gone to like, I think one lad went to Crawley, one lad's at Macclesfield. Yeah. I think there was about 9 lads who ended up getting professional contracts at Football League clubs or like in Scotland, and I think that's a great opportunity and a good carrot on the end of the stick for if they ever do it again. Proves that the system works as such. So yeah, it was a great week, and again an experience I'll never forget.
Yeah, so for you in particular, last season you was the management player of the year. You won an award before that, like the season before, didn't you as well?
Yeah, I won supporters player of the year before that.
Yeah, so obviously you're only 23, so you're far from in my opinion, a goalkeeper would hit their prime late 20s and stuff. Obviously, no one would ever want you to leave Curzon because of how good you've been for us and the performances you put in, but the nature of it is like everyone would want to see you go on to bigger and better things, and probably a lot of people believe that you could do that as well. So like for you, what is the aim for the long-term future?
I'd love to go back to the Football League.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm swallowing pasta. I'd love to go back to the Football League or into the professional game.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it'd be very difficult for me to leave here. Like I said at the start, this is a family to me. The people around the club, from Harry to Wayne to Mark. I've known Mark now for the whole 6 years. Mark has always been my coach.
Yeah.
Because when I first came in, I was in the reserves. You know, I'm very grateful. He gave me my game time there. He made me captain. We had a great team. He showed his trust in me, and now obviously he's my first team gaffer. And like I said, I'd love to go on to play full-time football again, because I feel like I've got a lot of room for improvement. As much as people might say, you know, you're a good keeper or this, I think everybody at this level, especially the young lads, have loads of room for improvement. I don't think you can rest on that, on what you've got now. There's parts of my game I need to work on, and the parts where people might say I'm good at that part of the game, I've still got room to work on. The long goal is, like I say, to become a professional again, get back into the league. You never know, that might be with Curzon, maybe in a few years, but it'd be nice. It'd be nice to.
I think you've got to aim for that, though, haven't you?
Yeah. You can't be satisfied.
I think even the coaches here, though, they'd be like, if you was sort of settled, you wouldn't be able to push yourself to perform the way you do.
No, I'm the goalie coach we've got now, Mark Cannon, is brilliant. I've got to give it to him. I think mentally, he is, to me, exactly what I need. He pushes me no matter what. He doesn't let me. He doesn't let me stop. Like, it's never good enough, but in a good way. So even if I have a good game, you're not as good as, you can do better, for example. So he's great. Like, the mental side of it, he's making me mentally strong. Because everyone makes mistakes. Yeah. Unfortunately, as a goalkeeper, they cost you more than what maybe a striker's mistake.
Last line, isn't it?
Yeah, and listen, if you can ask any Curzon fan who comes home and away, I have made mistakes. It has been my fault for goals, and I'll hold my hand up for them. And I'll never shy away from making mistakes, because
on the other hand, there's also the amount of times that you've won us games.
But
there's one that sticks to mind, the game here against Guisey last season.
Yeah,
and you must have made about 15 saves.
But then honestly, people say that's what I'm paid to do, and rightly so. I think you look at people like David De Gea, for example. He makes unreal saves, and you'll get people who rave about him. But at the end of the day, his job is to save the ball, and that's exactly the same on my level. I get paid by a club who don't have to pay me a lot of money, or don't have to pay me at all, and you know, and at the end of the day, I'll always give my best to keep the ball out the back of the net for whoever I play for as long as I can. And I think, like for example with Mark, if I do make, for example, the guys the game, then 15 or whatever saves, or how many ever it may be, the only thing I focus on is the negatives. Use the positives as a bit of a boost, but if I can work on them negatives and create more positives than negatives week in, week out, and keep improving.
Do you know what it is that you have to do sort of to take yourself to the next level? Or
probably find out where the local gym is. That'd be a good start. Be a presence. I think when people look at me, you probably look, oh, he's underweight, he's skinny. Which I am. I'm lean. I'm not a big guy. I think I need to get in the gym, maybe put a bit of weight on.
A few more pasta pots.
Yeah, a few more pasta pots along the way. And be looked at as, oh, look, like he looks like a big lad. Because I'm tall, I just need to bulk out a bit. In time, like I say, that will come. And it's something I am thinking of doing. But in terms of my actual game, I just want to be consistent. I just want people to look at me, and when they talk about me, saying he's consistent, he's consistently good, and that for me is the main thing. I'm gonna have bad games, but as long as my bad games keep down to a small amount throughout the season, then I'm happy with that. Because like I say,
you've still got a ridiculous amount of time ahead of you.
Yeah, obviously I'm only young. If you probably took out the keepers that are on loan at the clubs in this league, I'm probably one of the youngest, if not the youngest. I played over 100 games now. I think I'm touching nearly 150. And for my age, like I said, I'm very grateful for the opportunity to have played 100 and whatever games it is here. Because, like I say, it's a massive part of my development. And if I was to go higher, like I say, it'd be very difficult to leave such a family club like this. But I remember that this is where I learned how to become that, that next type of goalkeeper again, like that, the next step. This has been a massive part of my development. And if the day does come when I go somewhere else, I'll always be back here, watching and supporting, because at the end of the day, they're my local team. I've only been here less time than you, only like a year or so, but I said no matter what happens in the future, once I finish uni and stuff, I'll always end up coming back. Yeah, it has a great family feel to it.
100%,
you look around, you speak to people like Dreads. Like Dreads is a great fan. He home and away. His heart and soul he's put into this place, and you think of other people like even Richard Twanley, Harry Twanley, just everyone around the club. Obviously, there's too many people to mention, but it's the outside of football. For example, I play cricket with Richard in the summer, Richard Twanley, and the conversation won't be about Curzon all the time, but it proves how much of a tight-knit family club this is, because we get along even if we're not talking about Curzon. And if we have bad games, they're always in the bar and they're always saying, don't worry about it, go again next week. And that, I think, as a young keeper, that is massive for somebody like me. As a keeper, your confidence can get quite low, especially if you had a bad game.
That's what I was going to come on to. Obviously, unfortunately, you've got training tonight, and I'm sure there have been loads more we could have spoke about. We've got a few more minutes, but if we just finish it, like for young keepers that are still like people like Liam, Mark, and obviously the other lads that are coming in. What would your message be for them? And obviously, you haven't experienced all, but like if they get the same sort of setbacks as what you had, what would your message be to them?
Never give up. I think, as even though I'm still young, obviously they're younger than me. All the other goalies probably got one of the youngest goalie departments going, but I try to be a bit of a big brother figure. I want to help them as much as possible. Even though I'm young, I've been through a lot in terms of football. And my message to them would be, don't give up and believe in your ability. At the end of the day, you're at a club like Curzon Ashton because you've got something and someone believes you've got it. If your time at Curzon Ashton comes to an end, football is a game of opinions. Just because somebody said, I don't think you're good enough here, doesn't mean that somebody else will agree. And I think that's what I've learnt over time. For example, when I left Oldham and I got told I wasn't good enough to play in the youth team and they don't think I progress, somebody at Chesterfield believed in me and I went on to play 2 years youth team level and ended up being on the bench whatever times with the first team and train every day with the first team. So my message would be to any young keeper, don't give up. And if you have a dream like me to go back into the Football League, stick to it. But it all starts on the training ground. Keep putting the work in, playing football and playing with a smile on your face. And at the end of the day, if you do make a mistake, it's not the end of the world. It's how you react to it. And when you can get in the mindset of what it's like to be a keeper, your ability will do the rest. And that's what I'd probably say to them.
Nice. Yeah. It's been a pleasure talking to you anyway. Like I said, I'm sure we could have spoke about a lot more, but
I've got to go and dive around for a bit.
Yeah, so you
might throw this past the pot actually if I don't finish it quickly.
Yeah. Thank you very much anyway.
No, pleasure. Thank you.